let's move on to the Atlanta Falcons. They finished 7-9 last year, second place in the NFC South. Again, we've talked about the Falcons over and over again on this show, and the fact is we're confused about where they're at.
I think they are confused about where they're at.
Yeah.
Why do you say that, Shane?
Well, I mean, I don't know. It seemed like it was clear that they kind of wanted Dan Quinn out, but then the players were all like playing for their lives in order to try and save him or something at the end of the season.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what's happening here? I think they just don't really. I think they don't really know what they are, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, they don't really have an identity, to me, which is troublesome in a division like this that is getting a lot better. So,
True.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on it? Do you feel like they're confused?
They kind of felt like to me last year they felt like a runner who's like, I'm so good. I'm running this race. I can just chill. I can whatever. I don't have to put in the work. And then they see everyone passing them. They're like, oh crap. So they have to like put the gas pedal on and go zooming past and pick up all these wins when they really shouldn't have. But like, you look at the team on paper and they're pretty good. So
I think very good.
I think they're I mean, 2-3 years ago they had injury problems. Last year I was just terrible.
3 years ago they were in the Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah. And that's an interesting thing to point out is Dan Quinn every year had pretty much a losing record or losing more games in that year every season. Like, he had terrible records after that. They're still basically in a Super Bowl hangover phase with Dan Quinn, and that's why it's still massively perplexing that he's still the coach. But he is, and if they don't, I really do not think that they have a great season at all next year. But what are your guys' thoughts on this schedule?
I mean, there's some tough games in there. I mean,
opening with Seattle.
Yeah. Dallas should be interesting. Green Bay.
Yeah.
Minnesota. Yeah. Denver, I think, will be tough for them. I don't know. I mean, Kansas City. Forget about that.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on the schedule for you?
I don't think this is gonna be a very fun season for them.
Yeah.
Just schedule-wise. I mean, of course they play New Orleans twice. They play Tampa Bay twice. They have Green Bay.
They won't lose all 4 of those games, but
you never know.
So here's my thoughts. If they go in to week 4 against Green Bay, look, those first 4 weeks are going to determine a lot for me, because we're going to know if they have. I mean, obviously, no team really has a clear identity in September, but we have to see like how they play. Do they play like they did at the end of last year? Do they kind of come back and play it to that level, or are they just flat? Because if they go to Seattle and they're just, or if when they play Seattle and they're just flat, and then Dallas and let's say they're flat, and then you wait till Monday night against Green Bay and let's say they're flat there, I think we're out. This is a team we could be out on after 4 weeks of the season.
I don't know. I would also argue that like we were all kind of a little bamboozled by the beginning of the season for Seattle when we nearly lost to Cincinnati week 1.
Right.
Like, if Atlanta was to put in a good performance against Seattle, I definitely won't be like being like, oh my god, they're amazing.
I'm just saying the first month. I think the first month is going to give us a good snapshot of where they're at.
Yeah, that's true.
Because there's a good range of teams in that first month in terms of, difficulty, if you will.
Yeah.
Because you got, Seattle and Green Bay, which I think are pretty solid teams.
Dallas is still pretty solid.
Dallas, they're all right.
And then Chicago's defense.
Yeah.
Dallas has fallen, but they're still in the middle of the pack.
Yeah. They're still just the same average team that they always are.
Yeah. they're still the 80 overall team that they always are.
All right, so let's look at their depth chart. What is your X Factor player for 2020 for the Atlanta Falcons? Who wants to go first?
Yeah, I'm really curious as to what Todd Gurley's going to bring to the table. I think that they have a pretty good pass game. Matt Ryan, he's got a decent arm, obviously. He can play at an MVP level. He has been an MVP. But I think that they really need more of a running identity. And I'm really looking forward to what that's going to look like with Todd Gurley. I think he's a good fit for this system, whatever that might be. But I think it's they need to, like I said, they need to build more of a two-dimensional offense, and this is certainly a good addition for them.
For
Brandon,
me,
what you got?
it would be probably Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, that's a good pick as well.
When he's back from injury, I think he, for the last 2 years, in his first 2 years in the league, has shown that he is a game-changing wide receiver. He's just really good, and he's always open, and I think just is someone that Matt Ryan has shown to really like.
Yeah, definitely. I think if Calvin really takes a step up with Julio, they're gonna have a really dynamic offense, and we'll see about Todd Gurley. You guys took both of my picks, but I'll go Hayden Hurst. They added him, I believe, from Baltimore this year. That was a really underrated pickup. Adding a really good tight end. Obviously, they lost Austin Hooper, which is a big loss. Huge impact player for them as he's headed to Cleveland. Simply put, Matt Ryan loves to throw to his tight ends, and now he's got that option there still with Hurst, and I think he'll have a pretty good impact there as well. So I think it's all about the offense for us, and we'll see how good the defense will be moving forward there.